Okay, get ready, because today we're diving into something super interesting. It's all about the connection between allergies and metabolism.
Oh, yeah.
You might be thinking, wait, what? Those two things are related? But get this, we've got research showing they're actually way more connected than anyone thought.
It really is fascinating. Like, we always studied them separately, right? Immune system over here, metabolism way over there.
Yeah.
But now we're realizing that they're constantly talking to each other.
Hmm.
Scientists even have a fancy name for it. They call it immune-metabolic crosstalk.
Crosstalk. I like it.
Hmm.
So what are they saying to each other? Like, why should I care about this whole chatter?
Well, when it comes to allergies, this crosstalk is incredibly important because, at their core, allergies are like an immune system freakout, right?
Right.
But what's blowing our minds is that how your body uses energy, like what you eat, how you burn it, can directly affect those immune responses.
Hold on. So you're telling me what I eat could make a difference in how badly I sneeze when pollen's out there?
It really can. And one of the key players in all of this is a receptor called GPR17.
GPR17. Okay, I'm taking notes.
It's like, imagine a cellular double agent. It binds to signals from both the inflammatory system, which is what drives those allergic reactions,
Okay.
and the metabolic system.
So it's wearing like two hats at the same time. That's wild.
It is. So depending on what it binds to, it can tell the immune system to either chill out or go into hyperdrive.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's where this concept of molecular diplomacy comes in.
Molecular diplomacy. Love it.
These signaling molecules, they're called ligands, are like tiny diplomats carrying messages between the immune system and the metabolic system.
Okay.
Sometimes the message is, hey, let's ramp up the inflammation, like when you come across an
Wait.
allergen, right?
Yeah.
But other times the message is, everybody stay calm, we're good here.
So these little diplomats, the ligands, are running the show. What makes them decide which message to carry? Is it just random?
Oh, not at all. It's super complex, and honestly, we're only beginning to unravel it all. But here's what we do know. Your diet, like how healthy your metabolism is, plays a huge role in which ligands are in charge at any given time.
Mm.
And that, of course, affects how you react to allergens.
This is where it gets really personal. You're saying what I eat can actually change how my body deals with things that make me sneeze or break out in hives.
You got it.
Mind-blowing.
It's like your food choices are basically casting votes for which diplomats get sent out on the cellular level. We're talking about the potential to change your entire immune system and therefore your allergy symptoms simply by what you choose to eat.
Okay, this is a lot to take in. So are we saying someday I could eat a peanut butter sandwich even though I'm allergic to peanuts?
Well, maybe not peanut butter sandwiches just yet, but the potential is definitely there. We're already seeing studies on things like probiotics and prebiotics and how they affect gut health and immune function.
Right.
And remember, your gut is a major player in this whole story. It affects both metabolism and immunity.
True. Okay, so maybe no peanut butter sandwiches for now.
Yeah.
But this research could completely change how we approach allergies in the future.
Absolutely. What's really exciting is the potential for prevention. Imagine being able to use diet to help a child's immune system develop in a way that reduces their allergy risk. That could be huge.
Wow.
This whole idea of you are what you eat just took on a whole new meaning.
Right.
It really shows how important it is to see our health as a whole system. Our bodies are amazingly interconnected, and we're just beginning to scratch the surface of how they all talk to each other.
This is fascinating, but now I need to know, what should I be eating? What should I avoid? Give me the goods.
I hear your enthusiasm, but I can't give specific advice without knowing your personal situation. But there are some general things we can talk about that apply to everyone.
Okay, I'm ready. What are the basics when it comes to food and this whole immune-metabolic connection?
Well, first things first, we all have to remember we're unique. Our genes, our gut microbiome, our lifestyles, all these things play a role in how we react to food and allergens.
So there's no one-size-fits-all diet.
Exactly. Personalized nutrition is what matters. What works for one person might backfire for someone else. That's why it's so important to work with healthcare providers who really understand this new field of immune-metabolic crosstalk.
Got it. So instead of just following the latest fad diet, we need to figure out what works for us individually, right? And maybe get some expert help.
You got it. But even beyond those personalized recommendations, there are some basic things that are good for everyone's overall health, which will benefit both your metabolic and immune systems.
Okay, lay it on me. What are the fundamentals?
Well, focusing on whole, unprocessed foods is always a great start. Think fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains. These are the things your body needs to function at its best.
So ditch the processed junk and go for the real deal.
Exactly. And it's not just about what you eat, but how you eat too. Portion control, when you eat, even mindful eating, those all contribute to metabolic health.
Ah, so it's the whole package.
It is. And don't forget about stress and sleep. Those have a massive impact on both your metabolism and immune system.
Right, it all ties together. It's about taking care of your whole self.
Exactly. And even though research is still ongoing, these basic principles can really help you build a healthier, more resilient you.
This has been amazing. I feel like I have a whole new way of looking at allergies and how they connect to my overall health.
I'm glad to hear that. It really is an amazing field with so much potential to change how we treat and prevent allergies in the future.
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back to explore even more about this incredible link between allergies and metabolism. Okay, we're back and ready to go even deeper into this allergy and metabolism connection. I'm still amazed by the idea that food can have such a big impact on our immune systems.
It really is remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah,
It just shows you that allergies are more than just exposure, right? There's a whole internal world that's affecting how our bodies react.
totally. So let's talk specifics. I know we can't give medical advice or anything, but what does the research say? Are there any hints about specific foods or nutrients that are super important in this whole immune-metabolic crosstalk thing?
Yeah, there are some super interesting areas researchers are looking at. One of the most exciting ones is the role of the gut microbiome.
Ah, the gut microbiome. Everyone's talking about gut health these days. What makes it so important in this context?
Well, it's not just a trend. The gut microbiome is incredibly complex. It's like an entire ecosystem of trillions of bacteria living in our digestive tracts.
Wow.
And we're finding out that it's crucial for both our metabolism and our immune function.
So a healthy gut means a healthy immune system.
It's more complicated than that. But a balanced gut microbiome is definitely linked to better overall health, including a more balanced immune response. Think of it like a rainforest. The more diversity you have, the more resilient the ecosystem is. It's the same with your gut. More diversity means better resilience, so you're stronger when it comes to fighting off challenges, including those pesky allergens.
So more diversity equals a stronger defense system.
Yeah.
How do we get that diversity in our gut? Should we all be eating tons of yogurt?
Yogurt is a great source of probiotics, those live bacteria that are good for your gut.
Right.
But it's not just about popping a probiotic pill. The gut microbiome is really complex, and we have to think about it in a holistic way. Diet plays a huge role.
So back to diet. What kind of foods are we talking about here if we want a strong and diverse gut microbiome?
Fiber is absolutely essential. It's like the fuel that our gut bacteria thrive on.
Fruits, veggies, whole grains.
Exactly. Those are all packed with fiber. Fermented foods are also great, like yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi.
Oh yeah, I love kimchi.
They contain live cultures of those beneficial bacteria.
So it's not just about adding probiotics, it's about feeding the ones that are already there.
Yeah, exactly. We have to create an environment where they can flourish.
Makes sense. What about foods that have the opposite effect? Are things like processed foods and sugary drinks a no-no?
You got it. Those definitely don't help your gut. And too much saturated and trans fats can also mess with the balance of the gut microbiome.
So a healthy diet for your gut is basically a healthy diet overall.
Pretty much, yeah. It's all connected, but I know it can be overwhelming to keep track of all the different factors.
I know, right? It's like fiber, bacterial species, fermented foods. Where do we even start?
Don't get too caught up in the details. Just focus on the big picture. A balanced diet with lots of whole, unprocessed foods is a great foundation.
Okay, that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
What else can we do besides focusing on what we eat?
Lifestyle is super important too. Managing stress, getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, all of those contribute to a healthy gut and a more balanced immune system.
So it all comes back to that holistic approach again.
You got it. And don't forget, this research is still ongoing. We're learning new things all the time about the gut microbiome and how it affects our health.
So we need to keep learning and be open to new discoveries.
Absolutely. And the most important thing is to experiment. See how your body reacts to different foods and lifestyle changes.
So it's about finding what works for you personally.
Exactly. Personalized health is so empowering. It puts you in control of your well-being, and that's what's so exciting about this research. It shows that we have the power to shape our health through the choices we make.
That is a really empowering message. It feels like we're at the beginning of a big change in how we approach allergies and chronic illnesses.
I agree. But before we get ahead of ourselves talking about treatments, let's acknowledge that diet and lifestyle aren't the only factors involved here.
Right, we can't forget about genetics and the environment.
Exactly. Allergies are complex. There's no single cause or easy fix. But this research into immune-metabolic crosstalk gives us a new way to understand them, and it could give us more tools to manage and even prevent them in the future.
It's definitely a hopeful sign. We're not just stuck with our genes or our environment. We have the power to make a difference.
Absolutely. We have more control than we think. Now, are you ready to talk about those potential therapeutic implications? The exciting stuff.
You bet. But first, let's give our listeners a chance to catch up. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up our deep dive into this incredible link between allergies and metabolism. We're back for the final part of our deep dive, and I don't know about you, but I'm ready to talk about the future. Like what all this research could mean for actually treating and maybe even preventing allergies.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting stuff. But with any new area of science, we have to be realistic. We're not going to have miracle cures right away,
Right.
but the potential is definitely there.
Okay, Kim.
There are a bunch of exciting avenues that scientists are exploring right now.
Okay, no magic bullets just yet. But what are some of the promising areas researchers are focusing on?
Well, one that's getting a lot of attention is developing targeted therapies that can actually control the activity of those receptors and pathways we talked about, the ones involved in this whole immune-metabolic conversation.
So like drugs that can fine-tune the immune system so it doesn't overreact to allergens.
Exactly. Remember that GPR17 receptor?
Yeah.
That's a prime target. Researchers are trying to find ways to either block it from interacting with those pro-inflammatory ligands, the ones that get the immune system all fired up,
Sure.
or to enhance its interaction with the anti-inflammatory ones, the ones that keep things calm.
So it's about shifting the balance, right? Calming down that immune response.
Right on. And then besides targeting specific receptors, there's also growing interest in therapies that focus on the gut microbiome.
The gut microbiome. It really does seem to be connected to everything.
It's not just a coincidence. The research is really showing how much it affects immune function. Scientists are even pinpointing specific bacteria that seem to be linked to higher or lower allergy risk.
Wow. So the goal is to change the makeup of the gut microbiome to create a more balanced immune response.
That's the idea, and that's where next-generation probiotics could come in.
Next-gen probiotics.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty futuristic.
Right. Imagine probiotics that are designed to specifically target those allergy-related imbalances in your gut.
Like personalized medicine for your gut.
Exactly. Instead of just taking any old probiotic, it's about finding the right strains for your specific needs.
Personalized probiotics. Okay, I like it. So then what about prebiotics?
Prebiotics are really important too, remember. They're the food for those good bacteria.
Yeah, like giving them a gourmet meal.
Exactly. They're basically fibers that our good gut bacteria can break down. And by choosing specific prebiotics, we can encourage the growth of certain beneficial bacteria and shift that gut balance in the right direction.
So it's about creating an environment where the good bacteria can thrive.
You got it. It's like tending a garden, but for your gut.
A gut garden. I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that we can affect something as complex as the gut microbiome through things like diet and these targeted therapies.
It's pretty mind-blowing, right? It's like a whole new frontier in healthcare.
I agree. While we're waiting for these therapies to be developed, it's good to remember that the basics are still important.
Absolutely. A healthy diet, regular exercise, managing stress, getting enough sleep, those are the things that support a healthy immune system and a balanced metabolism.
So it's about being proactive, taking charge of our health.
Exactly. We can't control everything, like our genes, but we can definitely influence things like our diet, exercise habits, and stress levels.
And those simple changes can make a big difference.
A huge difference, even when it comes to allergies.
This has been such an incredible conversation. I feel like I've learned so much about how my body works and all the possibilities for the future of allergy treatment and prevention.
I'm glad to hear that. And remember, we've only just scratched the surface of this whole immune-metabolic crosstalk thing. There's so much more to learn.
That's what's so exciting. Imagine a world where allergies aren't this constant burden. What if we could prevent them by just taking care of our gut health and using these new targeted therapies?
I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
And with science moving as fast as it is, I'm really optimistic that we're going to see some amazing progress.
Me too. It's been a truly eye-opening deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us. We hope you learned something new today and that you feel inspired to take control of your health. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay well.